Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm back with a brand new speed build, this time doing a kind of Mediterranean style build. Now I say kind of because Mediterranean sort of villa style isn't really like a comfortable sort of style for me. It's not really one of my go-to styles or one that I feel that I can just do really fluently. It's a tough style to kind of nail for me, and so this is just Mediterranean-esque. The esque being it sort of is. But to be honest, it's all just made up. The exterior is completely made up, obviously, of lots of components to do with The Sims 4. But basically, I was sat the other day and I was thinking to myself, what would I like to build? And because Strangerville is this desert town and it has this real kind of desert, beautiful feel to it, I thought it'd be really nice to do a Mediterranean build on one of these top lots, which is in the top of the world. Now, I must say, a lot of these lots at the top of the world are just really beautiful, really kind of, I like the way they've added lots of green around these particular lots as well. And again, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Oasis Springs and how we have that area in Oasis Springs that has all the greenery in the desert style town. So it makes it a lot easier to build, to be honest, and build kind of luxurious style houses. But one of the things that I will say about these lots is they've got one of the most amazing views. They are so beautiful. So I just felt like this was such a perfect lot for this particular style of build, and so I just got stuck in. Now, I had no idea really where I was going. I just knew that I had to stick with lowish style roofs, obviously using a bit of terracotta and some sort of kind of stone washed wall effect on the outside. But then I wanted to go in and use some of the brand new windows and just see what I could come up with and just have a little bit of a play around. A lot of the landscaping that I did was to try and make something a little bit more luxurious and a little bit more upmarket. So this isn't actually a giant house. It is 5 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, and it does come in at just less than 269,000 simoleons. There wasn't restricted packs used with this particular build, and but even though it's 5 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, which funnily enough, I don't plan this. I just happen to be making a lot of 5 bedroom, 3 bathroom houses recently, bizarrely enough, but it doesn't actually feel that big on the inside. It's not absolutely huge. So I kind of like this house because I just feel like I think a 40 by 30 lot is like the perfect size for me if I could have any size, because I feel like I can do everything that I want to do on that size lot without it being too big or too small. So I did go ahead and use some Get Famous doors as well, just to add to the sort of grand feeling and luxury feeling of this particular house, which I felt went really nice actually. And I think I only used them once before, which was when I was showcasing them on the release of Get Famous. So it was quite nice to use a couple of items that I'm not used to using, and yeah, it just sort of feels a little bit different than an ordinary build. So this particular house was a very adult style house. There wasn't really anything for kids. I didn't theme any of the bedrooms or really involve anything for children whatsoever, to be honest. I just created 5 sort of neutral bedrooms. There was a couple of double bedrooms. I think there was 3 double bedrooms in the end and a couple of single bedrooms. But I kind of imagined that this was like a real posh house, one that maybe belonged to somebody who was famous in the world. I think that would be This would be a really good house for someone who had climbed that fame ladder and had lots and lots of disposable income. Maybe it could even be like a holiday home. I mean, not that anyone really wants to holiday in a town full of really creepy people, which I have still not kind of had a go of the gameplay element of this yet. I still don't know what the mystery is all about. I know absolutely nothing because I've spent all of my Sims time literally in build mode. But when I come to do sort of the panning of the camera and I go live for, you know, just a couple of minutes, I had one of those like welcome parties come round and they were all walking like complete zombies and they just look pretty crazy. And actually, it's pretty freaky the way they walk. It's I mean, I'm a big wuss anyway, so anything that's kind of all a bit distorted like that sort of freaks me out. But yeah, I thought it was a bit, yeah, really creepy. So I don't really know either if once you discover the mystery, do you cure the town? You know, does that mean that everybody's kind of, I don't know, cured and doesn't walk around like that anymore? Is it just something that is a part of this world now? Like, I'm quite interested to discover, and I think probably I should just start playing the game a little bit and then I would know a little bit more about it. But I'm just working on the landscaping at the moment, and I have to say, this particular garden is one of my favourites that I've done in quite some time. I quite like this garden, and I do sort of feel like it feels luxurious and a little bit more upmarket. It's not got loads and loads of activities and skill building items. I mean, I managed to kind of fit obviously the pool in and also some planters. I think I put an easel in later on, and we've got the barbecue area. So there are a few bits and bobs to do, but there's certainly a lot of room in this particular build and on the outside if you wanted to go ahead and add anything else in. We've also got the balcony area, and obviously I don't know what you call it, but the bit at the side of the house which is covered and currently has some sort of fountain in there. So there is more space that you could use to put other things in those areas as well. But for me, I just kind of dress them up to look pretty, if anything. So before I go on any more about the build, I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody who's entered for a free copy of Strangerville in my last video. I am actually going to let that run a little bit longer just to give people a chance to enter in for a free copy. Normally I give it away on the next video that I do, but I think I will announce the winner in the next video instead, so it will be my next video now. Totally confusing. But if you've not seen my last video and you're interested in winning a copy of Strangerville, then I will leave a link in the description box below and you can click on that and it will tell you everything that you need to do to enter in the description box of that video, but it's really not complicated. All you have to be is a subscriber of the channel and just type the word enter in the comments section. But I'm just moving on to the interior now, and this is actually the kitchen. Now, I have to say that this particular room is one of my favourites in this build, and it's not very often I say that about a kitchen, but this kitchen actually turned out to be probably a little bit on the small side really for this house. But then I was kind of thinking, you know, it's as long as you've got the surfaces to be able to cook and kind of put loads of plates and bits and bobs out, it doesn't really have to be a massive kitchen. So I decided to split it up into two and make this kind of kitchen diner instead. Initially I was going to make the other half kind of like a bar area, but then I ended up changing that out and added in kind of like a dining area because I didn't actually have, when I came to do the floor plan, I didn't section off a separate dining area. And if I used one of the rooms that I had sectioned off, it had meant that the dining room was quite far away, and I don't think the Sims would have basically gone and eaten in that room, so it was just kind of like pointless. So I decided to split this room up in the end. I was going to make it a massive kitchen, but yeah, I went for this kind of kitchen diner and I think it'd work, to be honest. But overall there are lots of kind of neutral sort of warm tones throughout this house. So different styles of darker woods and lots of light browns and things like that used throughout this house. I mean, I'm pretty sure the majority of my builds have very neutral interiors anyway. Look, interiors aren't my forte either. I just like building. I mean, if I could hire someone just to do the interiors, I absolutely would. But no, I don't mind doing interiors, but it's just I prefer doing exteriors, and that's just me as a builder. But I'll give it a go, I try my best. So I think the only thing with this particular build is I didn't include the bathrooms. For some reason, I wasn't recording at the time. Sometimes if I'm doing a little bit in the day, which is really difficult for me to do any building in the day because I've got my daughter who's only 2. So if I get a couple of minutes to myself, I might jump on and do a little bit, but I don't necessarily record. So I tend to do things like the landing areas and more communal areas that you don't really need to see. But occasionally I'll do the bathrooms, and I think I must have got a bit carried away and ended up doing them all. But there is a screenshot of one of the bathrooms at the end of the video, and they're all very similar. Like I say, there's 2 upstairs, there's 1 downstairs, but they're a fairly good size as well. So I think it's more than enough for this build, because even though it is 5 bedrooms, it really isn't a massive build, and downstairs does actually feel fairly sort of compact, so yeah. So in the downstairs of this build, we've got a kitchen dining area. We've also got a very sort of open plan. Well, it's not open plan because obviously it would be more than just a living area, but this kind of very big open living space, like reception room. And we've also got a downstairs study and bathroom. And then upstairs there is obviously 5 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, but I think one of those bathrooms might be en suite as well. I say might be, I've forgotten already. But I'm just moving on to the upstairs, and like I say, with regards to the bedrooms, I did keep them all very sort of adult based, and they weren't themed. There isn't like someone who's an artist, or there isn't somebody who is a teen who's into, they're just kind of generic rooms. But I had a lot of fun doing them, and they've still got a little bit of personality between them all as well. So I hope you're all really well and you're all having a fantastic week. Mine has just been crazy. It's actually been really, really fun. For those of you that don't know, I actually got a baby parrot last week, which was last Tuesday, and she is, I say she, I don't actually know if it's a he or a she yet. We are sending off for DNA testing, but I'm saying she at the moment. She is 10 weeks old, and she's a pineapple green cheek conure, and she is the cutest little bird. We've bonded so well, and I was literally sat with my daughter today, who's only 2, teaching her how to be gentle and how to feed her, and I've just got the cutest footage ever of her feeding her this little nut. It was really cute, but she's settling in really well, and I'm glad, because I do have a little dog as well, and obviously you've got to be really careful with dogs and birds, and same with cats and things like that, because birds are prey animals. But my dog was quite interested at first, and now she couldn't give a damn. She was literally late sunbathing today and just didn't care, so that was really good. Obviously, I would never leave them in the same room on their own together, but it's nice to know that she's settled in and that the rest of my family are kind of getting used to her being around now. But she's such a little babe. She's just like the sweetest little bird. And today she literally curled up in my hands and just fell asleep with a little head on my hand, and I was like, oh, this is so cute. But yeah, so I have just been in Parrotville really this last week, and just having lots of fun getting to know my little bird, and starting to practice doing a little bit of training with her as well, because I'd like to do some training and get her doing some little tricks and just little things that can keep her mind stimulated. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So we're also experiencing some kind of freak heat wave at the moment as well, because this time last year it was was actually snowing, so definitely wasn't expecting to be able to go outside in a t-shirt at the moment. But yeah, I think that's dying down. That will actually die a death by the weekend and it'll be back to rain, so I'm just gonna kind of make the most of it. But I'm just coming towards the end of the video now, just finishing off the bedrooms. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give me a big thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed, it would be awesome to have you on board. And don't forget to check out my last video if you're interested in taking part for a free copy of Strangerville the game pack. Take care guys, bye.